Hello everybody, this is Mark London. We want to welcome you everyone to our special broadcast today on the 4th of July, the 249th anniversary of the United States, based on the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. My name is Mark London and
I am Elmer Beard. We are podcast partners observing the 4th of July 2025, the 249th birthday of our country. Our special guest today is Cassidy Kendall.
Hi.
We welcome her today, and she's going to highlight some of the things that we need to be mentioning about our great city of Hot Springs, Arkansas, and the work that she does as author and journalist. So welcome, Cassidy, to our podcasting business.
we're happy to have you here today. Thanks for joining us, and we're expecting to hear from you about your time as a journalist and as an author, and discuss how you came to be here and got involved with becoming a friend with Elmer, who invited you to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So tell us about yourself.
So I am a journalist based in Central Arkansas. I lived in Hot Springs for 4 years and left about 2 years ago, just an hour up the road to Little Rock, the state capital. Grew up in Southern Arkansas. My time in Hot Springs was very formative for my journalism career because I came right out of college, and I met great people like Mr. Beard here, and I learned a lot about the city. I did the tourism beat for the local newspaper here for 2 years, and I thought Hot Springs was just so fun, and it's so fun. But I learned some uncovered things about the city through people like Mr. Beard, and
That's
through
true.
people that really just expanded my knowledge, and actually wrote this book called Secret Hot Springs. It has some of the fun stuff in it, but it also has some of the not so fun secrets in it.
Yeah, I was reading a synopsis of your book online from the Garland County Library, and it was talking about a lot of the colorful attributes of the history of Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I was seeing that you had written something about the involvement of the gangsters that were here, some of the speakeasies, madams, the police being involved in some of the overlooking the illegal activities that were going on in the community and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also was certain to include a lot of Black history in it. Hot Springs is a very historical town, has a lot of its history put out there. One of the stories, actually all of the stories in the book, the publisher wanted to include a business by it. So through that, I was able to tell the history of the gangsters that came, all of the white gangsters. One of the stories that actually got cut were those of the Policy Kings. So it was the Black gangsters that came here. And that's because there aren't any businesses showing that history right now. So.
Oh yeah, so you're saying that a lot of gangsters were here and they weren't all necessarily European, recent European origin, huh?
Yeah.
I like to say something that people are often a little bit taken aback when they hear me say that I don't believe in interracial marriage.
Oh.
See what I mean? Because
you did get me for a second.
Because
there.
I don't believe it exists.
Yeah.
I think there's only one race, so that's the Homo sapiens. We're all human beings. We just have ethnic differences. So I'd say interethnic marriage is okay. I'll listen to that.
Where, with you standing on that, where do you view something like white privilege?
Oh, that's a great question. Sure.
New conversation.
Yeah.
It opens it up. I think we should be honest and comfortable in telling the truth about it, because Cassidy, on one occasion when I asked her about how she was doing when she was changing job, I was offering her an opportunity to help her if she needed any help from me, and she had me to know that she didn't need any help. She had white privilege. I said, what an honest statement coming from you. And ever since that time, I've been doing some research to find out who else can I come in contact with who admit that he or she, who is white, has white privilege. So thank you, Cassidy, for introducing me to a new project. with your honesty and comfortableness, if I may.
Yeah, and I wasn't even saying it to tout anything. It was more just to.
It was an honest response.
It was an honest response. Mr. Beard said it perfectly. I was out of a job newly. I was
I was
not out
gonna
of a
hear.
job more than a week. And he was willing to help, and I was like, Mr. Beard, it won't be hard for me to find a job.
I have white privilege. She
Yeah.
was telling the truth.
Well, what's cool is that, we're all from different ethnic backgrounds, origins. I'm from the West Coast, born in San Francisco, raised in Napa, California. No black people were in my town as a child. I didn't know what it was like. And now here we are in Arkansas, I guess you could say the heart of the South. And you were born and raised here, is that correct, in Arkansas?
Yeah, in southern Arkansas.
Yeah, which is even more south than the rest of Arkansas.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
Yeah, and yet here we are, very much aligned with one another in terms of our consciousness about being part of a country that embraces a large, diverse group of people. And probably, I think Los Angeles being under attack now by the current authoritarian regime, who seems to be very much ethnocentric, hoping that white people will regain all the power and we can get rid of people who are slightly, I'm not sure where they're going to draw the line, slightly darker complected, but who knows where the bottom lies in this.
That's all in an effort to make America white again. We are told that it's an effort to make America great again, but we can read between the lines. We know where it's headed.
Yeah, it's not very difficult to make the judgments about what's happening. I think it might be appropriate just to mention that this is a sad day for us, 3 people in this room, based on the fact that yesterday the Congress of the United States voted to approve the Senate House Bill resolution. We call it the many different names, but one name I have is the big billionaire bonus bill that's going to make their lives even more ridiculously cushiony at the expense of the lowest earning people in the country. And it's the largest wealth transfer in the history of our nation. And it's a sad day in that regard.
Big, beautiful bill has been referred to as a big, sloppy, messy bill, and many other terms have been labeled with it. But I think we're going to have to get ready to live with it and make the adjustments that we need to make. A lot of people are going to suffer from it, and we're concerned about those people.
Do you think it's doable?
For some of us, we have managed to come through so much in our lifetime that we are just not afraid. We have the faith to keep on keeping on. We have the faith to keep on pressing on in spite of. Now, for many of us who have had so much in our life, it's going to be difficult. But for those of us who came up as I came up, say from the 2-room school with the water well in the center of the campus and the bathroom outside for the boys and the girls, and the only equipment I had at my school, my first school, was a sycamore tree with a swing under it. I've been through enough to be able to handle whatever President Trump hands me. But for you guys who are white, you have a challenge.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I would suggest that our challenge is to find ourselves gaining the courage and the toughness and the resilience to actually look these people in the eye and say, no, 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 no. I mean, these guys roaming the country, these ICE agents and all of their people that they've recruited who knows, Jan 6ers that were pardoned, people that have no regard for the law, and they have no credentials as being part of ICE or any other formal law enforcement agency, and they're just out there arresting, occasionally the odd American citizen, somebody that looks a little different, and then they're rounding people up and deporting them and sending them off to El Salvador. This is totally, historically, from our perspective, completely un-American. It's definitely illegal. It can't go on, and we need to fight, and never give up. And I'm really grateful, Elmer, that because of your particular background, having grown up in Arkansas as a black man,
That's correct.
and having been subjected to a lot of adversity and a lot of deprivation of opportunity, that you've had to be more resilient. You've had to be more courageous, more tough, and never give up fighting. And you're a great example to us for that.
Well, racism is a part of our culture. Racism is as much our culture as neck bones and hog-head cheese and apple pie. It's a way of life. It's not only Southern, it's American. And if I haven't learned to adjust to it at age 88, I haven't kept a good record of how I got to be where I am. I didn't get to be an author of 3 books, adjusting to that which made me comfortable. I had to adjust to that which made me uncomfortable, or adjust to things that were looked upon by the system as mine not even being human beings. So this is really not new to me. It's just coming in a time when it's hitting white folks very hard. So I'll be praying for you guys.
Yeah,
I hope it's okay to say that I'll be praying for my sister and my brother, because it's a part of my culture too, now that we're mentioning culture.
Absolutely.
So I hope the best for you all.
You know,
thank you.
taking both your sentiment and your sentiment, Mark, that is one thing I've come to realize through everything that's been going on. I was going online and I was so scared at first. And I even posted just yesterday. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm so scared.
I'm not afraid. Go right ahead, Cassidy. Go ahead, Cassidy. I'm gonna include you in my prayer, sister.
Thank you, Mr. Beard. And I had one of my friends who was a person of color, and she told me, she said, "That is some white people shit. That is
I love it.
that is only privilege. Like, it's a privilege because it's a privilege
It
to have been living in all of this comfort, and
Yeah.
white people are weak. I mean, seriously, and it is a learning.
So much. You have now.
It is a learning curve for all of us, like, absolutely. And the black community is who we need to look to for that.
We'll be here.
It's
You're
a little,
invited to my church. I asked Mark about how long he spent there one Sunday.
yes,
It'd
you
be
bet.
fun.
Yeah, I was at Elmer's church with him for 6 hours. I'm not a regular church attender. I do not.
It lasted him for 6 months also.
I'm not a practicing Christian, but I love Elmer. I think he's a great person. His heart is true. He's got a lot of compassion.
I appreciate that.
He's got a lot of caring. He's a great person in my mind, and I'm grateful for his courage and his example. And I'm a little bit embarrassed sometimes that a lot of people, big tough white men who are, buff, they're all built and they've been working out at the gym, they're afraid of people of color, and they're afraid. They're talking about the white replacement theory.
Very much so.
To me, that is so preposterous. It's so small-minded, and quite frankly, it's chicken. I don't understand it.
There's some literature out on about the percentage of white people that are left, and it's very concerning to white people.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we're going to diminish because our ancestors dispersed throughout the world. We were subjected to different climatic conditions. A lot of folks that probably look like me spent a lot of time under firs, in the shade, and in caves. Maybe they even eventually, of course, learned to build some dwellings, and that protected them from the sun. People who look like Elmer stayed on the African continent a lot longer time, and they were exposed to a lot more sunlight.
Very much.
So got more melanin in his skin to protect him from solar damage. So I mean, that's the primary difference between us. We still have all of our genes are almost perfectly identical, and anybody from any part of the world that's a human being can mate with another person of any other part of the world and produce viable offspring. We're all the same species. And you know, why would we be afraid of each other? We used to have to be afraid of each other because we didn't know if the person coming over the hill was going to kill us.
Since I was brought here, you really have to be afraid of me. I've been working since I've been here. My ancestors were working when they came. They were shipped south to Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and that's how I arrived to be where I am now. So don't be afraid of me. I helped to build this country. Been here since 1619, been working ever since then. In fact, at one point I was working 4 jobs and I didn't know that until I retired and had time to think about what I had done.
You mean you worked 4 jobs
At one time.
at this?
To buy my 4th house, I believe it was my 4th or 5th. So I'm known for my work. I'm known for my writing. I'm known for my telling the truth. I'm known for my prayers, especially when I see white folks uncomfortable with what the President of the United States is doing to all of us.
Yeah, well, it's.
I laugh about it. You have a bubble in your stomach about it, and I have a big laugh about it. What's new about this? You know, we built this country.
I'm on board with humor. I think that's one of the ways we survive these difficult and trying times. You know, people that look like me in the United States previously haven't been concerned about being enslaved, as we perhaps may be now, because you know, once the oligarchs and the ultra billionaires, now that they've gotten their big beautiful billionaire bonus bill in place, what are they going to do with us? They don't really need all of these people. Artificial intelligence and robots can pretty much service all their needs in the future, so what do they need us for?
I had never heard of the, what was it, white person or just white replacement theory?
Oh yeah, if you used to listen to, for example, to Fox News, well, I'm sorry to use that word. It's
I listen to him. Go right ahead, Mark. I do listen to him.
The Fox Disinformation Network is what I meant to say, because that's more accurate. It is not a news station. It is a disinformation, lying network that wants to do anything and everything possible to promote the personal self-interest of the President of the United States, number 47. You know, our position on number 47 is impeach, convict, remove.
Impeach, convict, remove, over and over again. Impeach, convict, remove.
It is really our best avenue for success, and we the people have the power.
My research includes something I want Cassidy to hold because she's in the center, and I'll be behind it. And I am happy to say that in Garland County Library in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the literature that you're looking at this time is available for children. And once we begin teaching our children or making literature available by white privilege, they can grow up living an honest and an open life, and hopefully that will make the necessary adjustment to become just a person in life rather than white, black, yellow, brown, green, or whatever per color that they are labeled. So I just share this literature as I continue to write about this same subject as time passes. I want to mention that, Mark, as we move along in our conversation. We are conservative, and we are open and honest about what's available in writing, and I'm happy that Cassidy is sharing this with us at this time.
Great. Well, thanks, Elmer. Yeah, I think that you know, we're weaving in some basic ideas, the differences between how people are treated and always have been in our country. I happen to agree perfectly, Elmer, with the sentiment that you were expressing earlier about the fact that we are very much involved in the value of being privileged white people, and the difference between us, you know, the value of all the slaves in the country was at one point, as we mentioned in our last episode, greater than the railroads, greater than the banks and the railroads, greater than the banks and the railroads and the land, because of what they gave to us in our country. So I am in full agreement that white privilege is a big factor, but it's also a big factor in the political system, and a lot of the discriminatory laws were written into much of our legislation throughout the country over time. And one of the things that we pointed out recently was that the mayor of New York in 1860 was advocating that New York City join the Confederacy because it was the second largest port in the country for importing slaves.
Slave was big business.
So, we always have this notion, oh, well, discrimination, Confederacy, it's all in the South. Well, not true. And it's also not true even in California, where I was from, even though slavery was never sanctioned as an institution. If you just happened to be a slave owner and moved in from Alabama with your slaves in tow, you could keep them. And that was the way it was for a long time.
Mark, as people are watching our podcast, I hope that some growth can develop from the truth that we're sharing with each other.
Yeah.
Because the three of us are reflections of what this country can be, what our communities can be, what our homes and churches and groups and lodges and all segments of life can be. Just tell the truth about how we got to be where we are, and that white privilege exists, and we're trying to decrease it with the honesty that we tell about it as we continue to be warm, comfortable human beings among each other. That's my philosophy, and I enjoy teasing you guys about what you're having to go through with what happened yesterday in the United States Congress in Washington, D.C. It doesn't bother us who've been through as much as I've been through as it bothers you all, because we keep pressing on.
We need your resilience and your determination and your strength and your example from your experience to help us get through this, because, us lily whites are a little bit afraid of everything that looks a little bit different than ourselves. We need a little bit of encouragement.
I want to make another point about middle class America, or people in their mid years. I have 3 children, they're in their 50s.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be more difficult for them than me.
Oh,
I'm
right.
88.
Yeah.
I've been through what they won't have to go through. And
Yeah.
so since they have had the blessings of their mother and father and all that they have been privileged to in their life, these are going to be some difficult times for them. But for me, nothing is new. I've been through it before. I've been told which water fountain to drink from. And so if you drink here, you have to use out a cup. I remember that so vividly. I think I deposited some of my DNA in that water fountain. Went to the back and got me a drink of water and found another job. I don't know what you call depositing DNA in a water fountain, but that's something I learned that I did later. Now, should I ask for forgiveness for it? No.
Well,
I was told
that's between you and your God. I don't know.
Okay.
I would like to follow up, Mr. Reed. I love what you said about how we are a reflection of what it could look like. And I think one really important note for that is whenever you were laughing about that, it is funny. It's all we can do is laugh, but it is funny in our own expense. But to be truthful, you do have to have that, be willing to be uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable. It's
Keyword.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong by being scared, but really it's that is just okay, and move forward from there and learn. And we learn through having conversations like this right here.
My comfortableness, and correct me on my pronunciation because I'm so emotional about this, as you know, began with you volunteering to say that you don't need to help me between jobs. I have white privilege. So I'm growing.
Yeah.
I'm growing.
Well, and also, you mentioned your children, Elmer, and their experience was a little closer to my experience and perhaps Cassidy's experience, because they had, the Civil Rights Act underneath their belts before, they came on the scene even in, 1964, I think we decided that was when that was signed into law. And of course, the current Supreme Court has done a great deal to undermine the impact of the civil rights era and the laws that were established then. But your children had an experience that was more like a white person's experience. Yeah, and because they had money, they had facilities, they had modern conveniences, probably a television.
They did. They didn't qualify for food stamps.
Oh my goodness!
I had to borrow from someone else if I wanted to use it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've seen people using food stamps in the store, but I've never had one in my possession. I don't.
I guess
know
that's
what they
what
look
I
like.
heard for job doing.
But I'm so grateful that the people that needed those food stamps could get them, and I pray that we get them back again. Even though I'm not a Christian, I'm still going to pray that people get their food stamps back again, because that's a great, offer to people who are struggling and have been deprived of privilege. And more of us are going to be deprived of privilege going forward, as technology becomes more advanced, and the grunt labor that people used to do, that standard jobs, even high white collar jobs are being replaced by artificial intelligence and robots, and that's going to get more and more ubiquitous. It's going to be the norm rather than the exception in the near future, I'm afraid. Well, I appreciate everything that we're doing here together as a group. I really appreciate you being here as our guest,
Yeah, thanks
Cassidy.
for having me.
And
I'm enjoying
Elmer.
it.
It's
I'm
really good.
growing. I'm growing.
Yeah, and the fact that we're in front of you, working these ideas out together. It's not like we've had all of these detailed conversations in depth before making this presentation. We're actually showing our audience, and we welcome you to bring us your comments, and hope you have a great 4th of July and have a good time with your families, but never give up.
Birthday 249.
249th anniversary of the United States of America. We're all happy to be here and to be with you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Keep the faith. Everything we do counts as long as we keep doing it.
Press on,
And listen to what Elmer says.
and I'll call your name in prayer.
Yeah, Elmer's going to be backing you up if you get a little nervous about having your rights taken away and your neighbors being hauled off in the middle of the night because their skin is the wrong color, or they eat the wrong food. I'm not sure what the criteria is. They talked about just sending off a bunch of criminals, but apparently they lost sight of that focus. But I do recall Trump saying he's going to deport 20 million people. That's a lot. That's going to include a lot of us.
That's a long.
Who knows
I think
what we'll be reporting from next time.
a big part of moving forward is, from this conversation, acknowledge your privilege, embrace the uncomfortableness, be willing to grow, and yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Keep
See
the
you
faith,
next time.
keep your courage, keep acting, protest, call your congress people. 202-224-3121 is the number. 202-224-3121. Ask for your representative. Tell them to impeach, convict, and remove 8647, and repeat.
See you next time.
Thank you.